everybody, it's me, Nina. You know, I was just looking out in the yard and seeing all different types of weeds out here, and I thought, you know, I am going to find out what some of these weeds are, because there's so many things that you can use, different types of weeds, in making tinctures, making, you know, different things that you can use as medicinal purposes. And I found this weed here and looked it up. Let me show you. It's this right here. It's a yellow jewel weed. Look how pretty the flower is. See down in there? And what you do is you take this plant, I'll just pull this off. The best time is this time of the year. And this jar's not clean, so what I'm going to do is I'll put a bunch of the jewelweed in here, and then once I get it into the house, I'll take it out and put it in a clean jar, wash all the leaves and stuff off. But yeah, I thought, what a neat thing. So what you do is, oh, Romeo, hear him back there. So what you do is you get a bunch and you fill this jar and pack it down in there real tight. And then you can actually use rubbing alcohol. So what you do is, after this is packed in tight, you fill it up with rubbing alcohol. You put it in a dark spot or place for 2 weeks, and then you pour the alcohol out into, they say to just go ahead and use the alcohol bottle that the alcohol was in, and it makes a tincture for poison ivy and anything that causes irritation on your skin like that. You just rub it on there, and they say it works extremely well. So, hey, I'm going to try that. As you can see, I've got a bunch of this growing right beside the yard. And this is going into the area. Right down below is that deep ditch, and it's got a creek down there. But I thought, what made me start researching this was the chickens were out here, and they were coming over here and eating on the flowers. I think that is so cute. Look how that's made. Almost reminds me of a Jack in the Pulpit, I think it's called. But yeah, so I'm going to get busy and get some more of these picked. And here we have it. I crammed and crammed these in there. I've got a lot more out there, but I thought that would probably be enough. Leaves, the little stems and everything, and I decided I'm not going to wash it because the alcohol is going to, you know, make sure that the bacteria and everything's killed out there. So what I'm using is just the 70% alcohol, and I'm just going to pour this in here. My lid broke. Oh goodness, I won't be able to use this bottle, but that's okay. I'll just put it in a jar with a lid on it when it's done. So let's just fill this up. Yeah, this is a different jar. I took them all out of the jar that was from the garage, because it wasn't nasty or nothing, but it had been dusty sitting out in the garage. I may be weird, but I love the smell of the rubbing alcohol. Should have been a nurse, I always said. The lid off since it was broken. It's a lot easier to do it this way. So yeah, we're going to make sure it's all covered. And I will put a lid on it, put it in a dark spot, and put it on my calendar for 2 weeks. Just going to use the plastic one that I have, because it doesn't have to be sealed or anything. All right, I found the perfect spot. I'm going to leave it under the kitchen sink for 2 weeks. All right, I also wanted to let you guys know, it says that if you have poison ivy and you're out in the woods, or you find that beside a stream or wherever you're at, you can actually rub those leaves together and rub it all over the poison ivy, and that will also work. And they also say that if you make it like into a tea, or just, I guess, chew on the leaves, it also helps with if you have a stomach ache. So many great, great natural things out there that God provided for us to use. Let's go see what else I can find. This is called a wrinkled leaf goldenrod. Look how cute those flowers are up close. And the difference with this one is you want to get the flowered part. So I'm gonna, well, there's a spider. Hey, you. I'm gonna pick some of these, and these are also in the same spot in my yard, over at the side of the yard. So I'm gonna take a bunch of these, just cut them off, and then cut them up, you know, and put them in another canning jar like I had. The difference is, instead of using the rubbing alcohol, because that tincture that I made is for, you know, like I said, poison ivy. This one is actually, you know, have you ever bought any at a health food store or anything, and you use the little droppers of it, and you actually put them like under your tongue in your mouth? That's what this is going to be made into. And you have to use 100% vodka. Now, the difference is, I researched this in the different amounts of like 80% proof or whatever. You want the 100% proof vodka because it's part water also. And there's a whole lot of things on that if you want to research more about the difference between like grain alcohols and vodka. Now, we do not drink at all, and Steve has had a liver transplant, so of course he would never drink or do anything to hurt himself. His was from a genetic disorder, but I would use stuff like this, and let me tell you what all it's good for. All right, so I thought I would add one of the goldenrods to my hat. So as I'm reading what I wrote down for you guys, you could just have something to look at. All right, so this, what I've learned about things in my own yard, wildcrafting, you know, finding medicinal purposes for weeds and things that are around your own home. And you know, you hear so much about things going on in this world. And I've always been interested in this type of stuff, and I'm just so thankful today that it just presented itself, and I'm learning so much, and I have to share with you guys what I have learned. Now, as a disclaimer, I am not a doctor, and I do not even play one. I would suggest that you always contact your physician before trying any of this homemade wellness ideas that I'm going to be giving to you, the tinctures and all the things that I'm going to tell you about this one with the goldenrod. Also, I know that Steve and I are very, very cautious with our health because we both have a lot of health problems. So I will be making this, but I will talk to my doctor. We go to him next month, and I will talk to him and see what he thinks. And by then, if he thinks it's okay and you're only going to be using just a little bit, then I will let you know how it all works for me. But there's a lot of stuff with the goldenrod. So let me tell you, I talked about you need the 100% vodka, and you can look that up. There's lots of reasons, but you have to keep it just like I filled up the other one, the jewelweed. You have to fill a jar up and cut up that goldenrod and put it in that jar, and then you fill it up with that 100% vodka, put a lid on it. You're going to put it in a dark spot, and it's going to be there for 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks. And then you'll take it out and you'll drain it, and then you can use the tincture from that. All right, I cannot hold my phone very long in one hand. It really hurts. All right, so let me get through this. This is known to help with ear, nose, and throat issues. You mix a little bit of the tincture, which would be a 0.5 to 2 milliliters, up to 3 times a day. And you can get those little bottles. You can buy those. I'm going to look on Amazon that have the little droplet things in with it. And that way you can just screw it on there. And then I'd like to get some little labels and print out exactly what is in it and when I found it and when I drained it and all of that stuff. but it is known to help with cancer, heart health, and anti-aging. It helps with urinary tract infections. It makes you pee more, and it's a natural diuretic, and it will help stop those muscle spasms. Like if you're getting a UTI, it's supposed to really help stop with those. You can also blanch it and freeze it and add it into your soup and that type of thing for over the winter and spring. This was tested in 11 different studies, and it shows that it works equally as well as taking an aspirin and reducing pain like in your knee and your lower back. The flowers are edible, and they make adorable garnishes for salads and such, which it would if you just cut that up, wouldn't it? You can dry the flower and the leaves and make tea from that. So there's so much things that you can use the goldenrod for. I had no idea. Now, we don't have any vodka in the house because, of course, like I said, we don't drink any alcohol. But we looked online, and for a great big bottle of that, it's like $16, and that would probably last a long time if you're making your own tinctures like I'm gonna do. I don't have the space or the things that I need to make anything like dried. Like if I wanted to dry this for like teas and stuff, we don't have a whole lot of room in the house. It's very small, and I'm not going to fool with doing that. I would much rather have just a little tiny dropper full, because it helps. It's been known to help with inflammation. And I don't think I read that part, did I? Yeah, it's supposed to help with inflammation. It lowered inflammation, due to like arthritis, which I have really bad all over, up to 45% in rodents. So when they did it with, they also did the studies with humans, and they said it was like an aspirin. Well, aspirin, I know, is not always good for people that have any type of kidney ailments at all. And this says that it's really good for your kidneys, that it being a natural diuretic. Now, you wouldn't want to use it every day, and you would want to contact your own physician and talk it over with him and do your own studies. But as for me, I think it's so cool that we can find things. My dad was always into this stuff too, and I wish I would have learned more from him. I remember I think I must have been about 17, and I had very, very bad periods, and ended up having to have a hysterectomy in my early 30s. But my dad was out hunting, and he knew that me and my sisters, all of us suffered through that. Every month, it was just horrible. And he went out and he dug up some yellow root, and it was the most bitter. Oh, it was horrible. But I'm telling you, that stuff worked. And yeah, so he did, natural things that he knew that would help us too. So I thought, this is a great opportunity. It just was a perfect timing. Everything is in bloom right now. And so I hope that you guys will try. If not, there's an app, and I'll list it right here because I can't remember it. I'll list it right there. And I have that on my phone, that if I see any type of a weed, I put it on my phone last year when I got it. But if there's any type of a weed or anything, and I'm not sure if it's a flower or what it is, I will snap a picture on my phone with that app, and it will tell you what it is. So that's how I am finding all this neat, natural, God-given things in my own yard. And these tinctures that I'm going to be making will last a very, very long time in case we ever need it. Who knows what's going to happen in this world? If I don't need it, maybe somebody else would. So thanks so much for coming with me today, and I hope that something I've said or have showed you along the way, you might try. It's so easy. And if it's natural, I still believe in regular medication, science medication and all that. I think that they work hand in hand together a lot of times. So yeah, thanks so much again for being there, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Bye-bye.